In this video, we will learn how to duplicate an angle using only a compass and straight edge. What makes an angle difficult is that the further you get from the vertex, the further apart the rays are from one another. So unlike a segment where we can just capture one specific length or distance, we cannot do that with an angle because, again, the further out we get from the vertex, the further apart the rays are from one another. So your very first setting or your very first mark that you're going to make is actually on the initial angle. We're going to try to stop or fix that problem. So we're going to put our compass on the vertex and we're going to just draw an arc kind of midway through the angle. There's no real guidelines yet. Make sure your arc intersects both of those rays. And what this arc is doing is determining this is exactly how far from the vertex I want to be. Because now we can take a measurement how far apart those rays are from one another. So once you have that compass setting, do not adjust it, leave it as is. I'm going to start off my second angle by just drawing one of the sides. And here's my vertex here. I'm going to make an exact copy of what I have on my original angle down here. So I'm also saying that this is how far I want to be from this new vertex. And let's label some points just so I can talk about them. We'll call this angle ABC. We'll call this, let's say, E, and this intersection point F. Okay. Now what we can do is, because we've determined how far from the vertex we want to be, I can measure or capture the distance between these two sides. So I'm going to use my compass to do that. We're not actually going to get a ruler. We're going to capture the distance from A to C. So I'm putting the center of my compass on one of the points and my little slider hole on the other. And now I just need to make a copy on the new angle. Now for me, the way I have it positioned, I do need to take this and kind of turn it upside down. So now I'm going to put my compass on F. And I just need to find kind of the equivalent point to A down here. So I just need to find that single intersection point. I'm just going to put a little arc here. We'll call this point D. So D and A are sort of corresponding points in our construction. Once you have that, we're almost done. Let's just connect E to D to create the other side of the angle. We'll make that array as well. And now we have two congruent angles. Let me go through that one more time, just the steps. So I'm going to start with, and let me do it on obtuse angle this time. You'll see the steps are the same. You just have to swing a bigger arc initially. Okay, so here's our original angle. Let me get the other one started. Put half of it here. Okay, and again, the further we get from the vertex, the further apart those rays are from one another. So our very first arc that we'll make is going to try to fix that problem to kind of eliminate that variation. We're just going to say, this is how far from the vertex I want to be, right? This is my distance here. Let's repeat that on the other side. Let me put my labels on there again. So I've got ABC again. I'm going to repeat that on my other, what will be my new angle. See, we have to swing a nice big arc here, much closer to a full circle than we did with the acute angle. We'll call this E and F. We're waiting to find point D. We know it's going to go somewhere over here. We just don't know quite where. Now that I've determined how far from the vertex I want to be, now I can measure how far apart the rays are from one another. Now, when I mean measure, I don't actually mean with a ruler. I mean capture the distance between points A and C. So I'm going to get my compass. Oops. There we go. I'm going to use the center and this hole to capture that distance. Do not adjust that slider. I'm going to rotate this way. I'm just going to try to find the equivalent point to point A here. All you need is just this little intersection. Just make this arc big enough so that it intersects your first arc. We'll call that point D. And then we just connect E to F. And we have duplicated an angle using just a compass and straight edge.